Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EasyTalk English. We're really happy you're here with us today, wherever you're listening from. Take a breath, get comfortable, and just listen with us for a moment.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be back again. And honestly, today's topic comes from something very real that happened to me just yesterday.
That already sounds interesting. When you say very real, I feel like it's something many of us will recognize. What happened?
So, yesterday evening, I opened my fridge to look for dinner. I moved a few things around, and at the back, I found a container I completely forgot about. When I opened it, I knew immediately I had to throw it away.
Oh no, I already know that feeling. That moment when you realize the food is too old and there's no way to save it. It's such a small thing, but it hurts a little inside.
Exactly. It wasn't even a big meal, just some leftovers from last week. But I still felt bad because I remember buying the food and thinking, I'll eat this tomorrow. Tomorrow never came.
That happens to me more often than I want to admit. I put things in the fridge with good intentions, and then life gets busy. A few days later, I find it again and feel guilty for wasting it.
The worst part is that I didn't notice it day by day. I didn't think, I am wasting food. It just happened quietly, without any decision. Suddenly, it was already waste.
Yes, and that's such an important point. Waste is not always dramatic or obvious. Most of the time, it comes from small habits we repeat every day without thinking.
And when I threw that container away, I started thinking about other things, not just food, but money, time, even energy. I realized waste is not only about trash.
I had the same thought when you started talking. Waste is not just something we see in a bin. It's often about what we forget, delay, or don't pay attention to in daily life.
Exactly. And we don't wake up in the morning planning to waste things. It just happens slowly while we're busy, tired, or distracted.
So maybe the real question is not why do people waste, but something deeper. Why do we waste so much without even noticing it happening?
That question stayed with me all night. It feels simple, but when you really think about it, it connects to how we live every day.
And that's what today's episode is about. We're not here to talk about the environment in a heavy or stressful way. We just want to talk honestly about waste in real life.
If you've ever thrown away food, wasted time on your phone, or bought something you never used, you're not alone. This episode is for you.
And before we continue, if you enjoy learning English through real conversations like this, please like this episode and subscribe to Easy Talk English. It really helps our little community grow.
All right, let's continue and talk more about waste, not as a big idea, but as something we all experience in everyday life.
Before we go deeper, let's slow down and talk about one simple word we keep using today. That word is waste, and it's actually easier than many learners think. We don't need complex explanations to understand it.
Yes, and what I like about this word is that we already use it in daily life, even in our own language. In English, waste can be both a noun and a verb, and that sounds scary, but it's very natural.
As a noun, waste means things we don't use and then throw away. For example, food in the trash, old papers, or things we buy but never touch again. When I say, there is too much waste in my kitchen, people understand immediately.
And as a verb, to waste means using something badly or not using it at all. You can say, I waste food, I waste money, or I waste time. And all of these sound very natural in everyday English.
Let's start with food because it's the easiest to imagine. When I cook too much and don't eat the leftovers, I waste food. When vegetables go bad in my fridge, that's also food waste.
Money waste is very similar. When you buy something you don't really need or you buy it and never use it, you waste money. I've done this many times, especially with things that look exciting in the moment.
And then there's time waste, which I think is the most common one. When I plan to do something important but spend an hour scrolling on my phone instead, I waste time. It doesn't feel serious at first, but it adds up.
There are also two very common phrases people use with waste: throw away and throw out. They mean the same thing, and both are used in real conversations. You can say, I threw away the food, or I threw out the food.
I personally say throw away more often, especially with food. For example, I had to throw away the soup because it smelled bad. That sounds very natural and very real.
Something important I want to say here is this. When we talk about waste, we're not talking about being a bad person. Most of the time, waste is not about being careless on purpose.
Yes, waste usually comes from not noticing. We're busy, tired, or distracted, and things slowly pass their time. We don't wake up thinking, today I will waste food. It just happens quietly.
That's why I think this message matters. Waste is not about being bad or lazy. Waste is about being unaware of small daily habits.
And once we start noticing, even a little, our behavior can change naturally. We don't need to feel guilty all the time. We just need to see what's really happening.
So, if you've wasted food, money, or time before, that doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you human, just like the rest of us.
If we're honest, food waste is probably the most common kind of waste for almost everyone. It happens quietly in the fridge, and we only notice it when it's already too late. I think that's why this topic feels a little uncomfortable, but also very real.
Yes, food waste feels personal because it happens at home, not somewhere far away. You open the fridge, you see something strange, and your heart sinks a little. You already know you're not going to eat it.
Let's start with a very common word, leftovers. Leftovers are food that stays after a meal, and almost every family has them. I often cook with good intentions, but then I make too much and the leftovers sit there.
Same here, especially with pasta and rice. I always think, I'll eat it tomorrow, but tomorrow comes and I want something new. After a few days, those leftovers don't look so friendly anymore.
And that's when another word appears, expired. When food is expired, it's past the date when it's safe or good to eat. Sometimes I look at the date and think, oh no, this expired 2 days ago.
Even worse is when food goes bad before you even check the date. You open the container and the smell answers the question for you. At that moment, you don't need English. You just know it's over.
I still remember opening a box of strawberries I completely forgot about. They were covered in white mold, and I felt both shocked and embarrassed. I bought them with the idea of being healthy, and then I wasted them.
I've had that experience with yogurt and cheese. I push them to the back of the fridge and they disappear from my mind. When I finally find them, they look like a science experiment.
That moment always comes with guilt, doesn't it? You think about the money, the food, and the effort that went into it. Even throwing it away feels bad.
Yes, and sometimes it's embarrassing too. If someone else is in the kitchen, I try to hide it quickly. It feels silly, but food waste touches something emotional.
When I think about why this happens, I notice a pattern. I often buy too much food because I shop when I'm hungry or tired. Everything looks like a good idea in the supermarket.
I do the same, especially when things are on sale. I think, this is cheaper if I buy the big one, but then I can't finish it in time. In the end, cheap becomes expensive because I waste part of it.
Another problem is not checking the fridge before shopping. I sometimes buy milk, then come home and see I already had milk. One of them always loses that race.
That's such an honest mistake, and it happens fast. Life is busy, and we don't always slow down to check what we already have.
This is why I really believe in one simple idea. Buying less is sometimes cheaper than buying big. Smaller portions mean less pressure to finish everything.
I agree, and it also reduces stress. When my fridge is not full, I can see everything clearly. Nothing gets lost, and I feel more in control.
So if you've ever thrown away leftovers or found expired food in your fridge, you're not alone. These stories are normal, not shameful.
Food waste doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you're human and learning. And once you notice it, change becomes much easier.
After food, I think the next kind of waste that really hurts is money waste. It feels different because money represents time and effort. When we waste money, it's like we wasted a part of our life, too.
I agree, and the painful part is that money waste often doesn't look like a mistake at first. At the moment of buying, it feels exciting or even smart. Only later do we realize we didn't really need it.
For me, wasting money often means buying something and then never using it. The item looks good, feels good in the shop, and I convince myself it will be useful. But once it's home, it just sits there.
Yes, that's a very common pattern. We imagine a future version of ourselves using that thing, but real life comes and the item stays untouched.
Impulse buying is a big reason for this. You see something, you don't plan it, and you buy it quickly. Your brain says, "This will make me happy," even if only for a short moment.
I've done that so many times, especially online. One click and it's already paid for. The speed makes it easy to waste money without thinking.
I still remember a bag I bought while traveling. It was expensive, but it felt special because I was on vacation. I told myself it was a memory, not just a bag.
And then you came home, right? At home, it didn't feel as special anymore. That happens a lot with travel shopping.
Exactly. I hardly ever use it now. Every time I see it, I think, was this really worth it? It's a strange feeling because I liked it when I bought it.
For me, it's the opposite problem. I buy something nice, and then I'm too careful with it. I keep saving it for someday.
That's such a real habit. You don't want to damage it, so you don't use it at all.
Yes, and that's how waste happens quietly. I had shoes I thought were too expensive to wear every day. Years passed, and they still look new but unused.
That's when the idea of worth it becomes interesting. Something is worth it only if it actually becomes part of your life. Otherwise, it's just an object.
I like that way of thinking. If you don't use it, it's already a waste, even if it looks perfect.
And money waste doesn't always mean big, expensive things. Small purchases add up too. Coffee you didn't really want, subscriptions you forgot about, little items that feel cheap but repeat often.
Those small things are dangerous because they don't hurt immediately. You don't notice them until you look back and think, where did my money go?
I've also noticed that emotions play a role. When I'm tired or stressed, I'm more likely to buy things. It feels like comfort, but it doesn't last.
Same here. Buying something can feel like a reward, even if you didn't earn it. Later, the feeling disappears, but the object stays.
That's why I try to pause now and ask one simple question. Will I really use this? Not in theory, but in real daily life.
That question changes everything. It brings you back from the dream version of life to the real one.
So, wasting money isn't about being careless or irresponsible. It's about habits, emotions, and moments of excitement.
And once we see that clearly, we can make kinder and smarter choices. Not perfect ones, just more aware ones.
After money, I think the most painful kind of waste is time waste. It feels quiet and harmless, but it happens every single day. Most of the time, we don't even notice it while it's happening.
I agree, and modern life makes it even harder. Our phones are always with us, and scrolling feels normal now. 5 minutes easily becomes 30 without us realizing it.
Scrolling is my biggest bad habit. I tell myself I'm just checking one thing, maybe a message or the news. Suddenly, I'm watching random videos that don't really matter to me.
For me, it's procrastinating. I know I have something important to do, but I delay it. I clean, I organize, I scroll, anything except the real task.
That's such a common pattern. We're not lazy, we're avoiding discomfort. The task feels heavy, so we escape into something easy and familiar.
Yes, and the strange thing is the feeling afterward. In the moment, scrolling or avoiding feels relaxing. Later, it turns into regret and frustration.
I know that feeling very well. When I finally look at the clock, I think, I could have done so much in this time. That thought is really uncomfortable.
And that's when time waste feels different from money waste. When you waste money, it hurts, but you can earn money again. Time doesn't work that way.
Exactly. You can make more money, but you can't earn time back. Once an hour is gone, it's gone forever. That idea makes time feel very precious.
It also explains why time waste creates more emotional weight. We feel frustrated not just because we lost time, but because we lost opportunity.
I've noticed that time waste often happens when I'm tired. My brain wants something easy, so I choose scrolling instead of rest or meaningful activity.
That's an important point. Sometimes we think we're resting, but we're not really resting. We're just numbing our brain with noise.
Real rest feels different. It leaves you calmer and lighter. Time waste usually leaves you feeling empty or annoyed with yourself.
I've had nights where I scrolled for hours and went to bed feeling worse. No energy, no joy, just frustration.
Procrastination works the same way. You avoid something all day and then you rush it at night. The stress becomes even bigger.
Yes, and then we say, I don't have time, even though we had time earlier. It's a hard truth, but an honest one.
I try to be gentle with myself about this. Time waste doesn't mean you're bad or careless. It usually means you're overwhelmed or tired.
That gentle approach helps a lot. When we understand why we waste time, we can change slowly, not with pressure.
So time waste is really about awareness, not being perfect, but noticing where our time goes and how it makes us feel.
And once you see it clearly, you start valuing time differently. Money comes and goes, but time is the one thing we never get back.
After talking about food, money, and time waste, I think it's important to say one thing clearly. This is not about feeling guilty or becoming perfect. It's just about small changes we can actually keep.
Yes, I really like that idea. When people hear words like waste or environment, they often feel pressure. But pressure usually doesn't lead to real change.
Exactly. That's why I like the idea of reduce before recycle. Recycling is good, but reducing is even better. If you buy less, there is less to throw away later.
I used to think recycling was the main solution. Then I realized I was still buying too much. I was recycling, but I was also wasting at the same time.
That's such an honest realization. One small change I made is checking my fridge before shopping. It sounds very simple, but it helps so much.
I started doing that too. Now I open the fridge, look carefully, and ask myself what I already have. Many times, I don't need half the things on my list anymore.
Another change for me is buying smaller amounts. I used to buy big packages because they looked cheaper, but if I don't finish them, they're not cheaper at all.
I learned that lesson the hard way. Now I buy less, even if it costs a little more per item. In the end, I waste less money and less food.
Using what you already have is also very powerful. Sometimes we keep buying new things while old things sit unused at home.
That's very true. I challenged myself to stop buying new notebooks until I finished the old ones. I found 3 half-used notebooks in my drawer.
That happens to me with clothes. I thought I needed something new, but when I checked my closet, I realized I already had many good options.
These changes are not big or dramatic, but they feel realistic. That's what I like about them. You don't need a huge promise to start.
Yes, progress is much more important than perfection. You don't need to reduce all waste in your life. Even reducing one habit is meaningful.
I also like reusing things when possible. Using a jar again, bringing my own bag, or using leftovers creatively. Small actions, but they add up.
And when you focus on small steps, you don't feel overwhelmed, you feel capable. That feeling makes it easier to continue.
I think that's the key message here. Small changes matter more than big promises. Big promises often disappear, but small habits stay.
So, instead of saying, I will never waste again, it's better to say, today I'll try to waste a little less.
That mindset feels kinder and more honest. And honestly, it works much better in real life.
Before we finish today, I want to slow down and gently summarize what we talked about. Waste is not a big, scary topic when we talk about it in real-life English. It's something we all experience every day, often without noticing.
Yes, and that's why this topic is so useful for English learners. You don't need difficult words or long explanations. Simple words are more than enough to talk about waste clearly and naturally.
We talked about waste as part of daily life. Food waste, money waste, and time waste are things everyone understands. When you can talk about these things, you can connect easily with other people.
Exactly. And the vocabulary we use today is very practical. These are words you can use at home, at work, or in small talk with friends. Let's review them together one more time.
The first word is waste. You can say, I hate to waste food, or I wasted a lot of time today. It can be a noun or a verb, and both are very common.
The next phrase is throw away. This means to put something in the trash. For example, I had to throw away the milk because it went bad. You can also say throw out.
Another important word is leftovers. This is food that remains after a meal. You might say, I'm eating leftovers for lunch, or I forgot my leftovers in the fridge.
Then we have expire. When food expires, it is past the safe date to eat. For example, this yogurt expired yesterday, so I threw it away.
And finally, the word reduce. To reduce means to use less. You can say, I'm trying to reduce my food waste, or I want to reduce how much I buy.
Now, let's do a small practice together. Think about your own life for a moment. No pressure, just something simple and honest.
Here is our question of the day. What have you wasted recently? It could be food, money, or time. There is no right or wrong answer.
You can write one short sentence in the comments. For example, I wasted some leftovers last week, or I wasted time scrolling on my phone.
If you feel shy, that's okay. Writing even one sentence is already great practice. And when you comment, you're practicing real English, not textbook English.
If this topic felt familiar, please give this episode a like. And if you want to keep learning English through real-life conversations, subscribe to EasyTalk English.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Talking about waste helps you talk about real life, and real life is the best place to learn English.